is my rant. I am outraged. I am sickened by this judge, Judge Jean Boyd, and her elitist decision. Coddling is not a strong enough word. The defense lawyer even had the audacity to argue that Ethan suffers from affluenza, as in affluent. It looks like this judge bought this load of BS, and in doing so may well have given this bratty kid the chance to spin even more out of control. In effect, the judge admitted, yeah, there's a two-tiered system of justice, one for the poor, who, let's face it, are often minority, and one for the rich, like this kid. How dare this judge buy this argument that this kid is just a victim of his wealth and bad parenting? It pollutes the criminal justice system, which is supposed to be blind, particularly to privilege, particularly to money and power. This sentence is basically saying if you're rich, you live in a no-consequence zone. You can kill with abandon. You won't do any hard time. You won't do any time at all. A man whose wife and daughter were killed by this kid put it best. Listen to him.
Money always seems to keep Ethan out of trouble. This was one time I did ask the court that for justice and that for money not to prevail. And ultimately today I felt like money did prevail.
Call me, 1-877-JVM says. What do you think of this kid getting not any time behind bars? 1-877-586-7297. You know, I remember covering a story where a lawyer once sparked outrage by suggesting his client was too pretty for prison. His client was a hot blonde. Well, now we have lawyers and a judge saying this young man is too rich for prison. John Lieberman, investigative reporter, are you kidding me?
Jane, and justice for some. I mean, you look at this case, and once again, the victims get the short end of the stick. And I'll tell you what, Jane, the moment this 16-year-old was charged as a juvenile, that was his get-out-of-free card, because prosecutors asked for 20 years of prison for this 16-year-old. But even if they got that sentence, he would have only served 2 or 3 years in jail. That was the first thing. And the victims don't even get the solace of that, because instead, he gets 10 years probation, and the only way he's going to end up behind bars is if he screws up and violates his probation. One other thing, Jane, I went through the court documents, and this is what I found that probably upset me the most. He actually told another teenager at the scene that, quote, his family would get him out of anything.
Of course,
that's what he said at the scene after killing 4 people.
Listen, his lawyers admitted he was drinking, he was driving, okay? A 3 times the legal limit, .24. But argued that his parents were partially to blame since they gave him everything he wanted and never disciplined him. The defense argued, oh, that makes him a victim, so he belongs on probation and in high-priced therapy.